I came to RVCC 5 years ago as a new faculty member. In that whole 5 years, we've been fighting with the administration and the Board of Trustees the whole time to just get even the most modest pay increases and benefits. It shouldn't be like that, especially in two very, very wealthy counties. We shouldn't have to struggle and fight tooth and nail just for a fair contract. And it's not only faculty that suffer when we don't have a fair contract, it's you students that really suffer. If we don't have a fair contract, obviously it's going to impact what happens in the classrooms and what we can bring to our jobs.
We're the kind of people who spend an overnight doing a game jam with all of our students and indeed the whole world so we can create video games. Right? We're the ones who build rooftop gardens at this college. We're the ones who take our students to hear Supreme Court arguments. We do it on our own time. We do it at our own expense. We do it for no extra compensation. We do it because we care.
We don't work thinking of how much we are paid. We are not selling cars. But we do claim that our expertise should be commensurate with our skills and success as communicators. But more importantly, our commitment to improving the lives of our students requires that we have a board of trustees that understands that we need their full help and support. Their purpose as a governing body should not place the cart before the horse. That decisions about salary should not be a game they wish to accomplish under the punitive logic of corporate exploitation of academic labor. But a reuniting point to support for what we do and encourage us to be the best professors that we can be.
My husband, Josh Azzarello, who also has an international art exhibition record, much like many of the professionals in our visual arts department, has been an adjunct here for 10 years also, getting paid a tiny, paltry amount of money to bring an incredibly professional and knowledgeable skill set to his students. He loves to teach them. He deserves more, I deserve more, and the students deserve more.
I'm Andrea Vaccaro. I teach English as a second language. My students are mostly immigrants. They come from other countries because they see this country as being a wonderful place. And I can't lie to them and say this is a wonderful place if our most educated people are being disrespected. And that's exactly what happened. The administration's dissing us. They're disrespecting us. Not cool. Not good. I'm not cool with that. And the other thing is that here my students are striving to get an education. They're striving to move up that economic ladder. What do I tell them when I can't?
You shouldn't sit there and listen and accept these things when you're told the things that wouldn't give your own work, whether it's the job you're doing now or the job you're doing 10 years from now. Don't sit there and take the things that we are facing right now either. Realize that it's a smoke and mirrors game and that they are shifting the blame and pointing at the people who are actually trying to do something and trying to help.
When our politicians, Democrats and Republicans, talk about making America great, I want to have that conversation. I want to talk about what made America great. I want to talk about what fueled the growth of the middle class, the growth of public education, in the post-World War II period. It was a commitment on all levels of government, whether it was local, state, or federal, to public education, to create a middle class that was capable of competing, in the second half of the 20th century. And that's exactly what happened. My parents, like Carl's parents, were working people. They were blue-collar folks. My brother and I got to go to college because the federal government had a commitment to funding public education. That's what gave growth to the middle class. What we see going on now is the exact opposite. Let's defund public education. Let's not put money into the schools. Let's push private solutions. Let's attack the teachers' unions. Let's attack the organizations that helped to create that great America in the post-World War II period. And I don't need to tell you, what did it give us?
They gave us a weekend!
Sick leave, health care. Something that is now that the illustrious governor who doesn't know whether he wants to be in New Jersey or New Hampshire. It was in our House in 2014 that Christie came here, attacked teachers, attacked unions, talked about why should we have paid sick leave, making it seem as though we were living we were the fat cats and living high on the hog. Okay, I'm not living high on the hog. I bring home less now than I did in 2011. Despite raises, despite I got a 6.5% raise for getting promoted, and I'm making less, partly because the increases that we've received over the last 4 years have been below the increase in the cost of living, and because of the increasing amount that we have to pay out of pocket into health care. Teachers aren't the enemy, teachers are part of the solution.
Yeah.
Based on the college's own financial data, there appears to be no economical reason why we can't reach a fair contract. In August of 2013, the Board of Trustees passed Resolution 106. It stated that college finances were, quote, better than expected that year. And based on that, the board was able to set aside $700,000 from that year's budget for other initiatives. Then, in 2014, Resolution 112A, $700,000 surplus transferred out of the budget. 2015 audit, another $695,000 was transferred to fulfill, quote, important strategic initiatives. RVCC is operating in the black, but apparently the Board of Trustees is unwilling to share any of this with the people who work here. We're not asking for the world, believe me. I sit at that negotiation table every time. We are not asking for the world. We are simply asking to lose less and have a small share of the gains. For us to receive comparable pay to the counties that surround us, each faculty member would have to receive a $7,000 raise. For us to catch Middlesex County, the college would have to give us a 22.8% raise. You know what they offered us at the table? 1.75% for 4 years.
I only wish I could describe the sadness and despair that I feel when reflecting on how we, the body of Raritan Valley Community College faculty, were treated during our contract negotiations. They sent us a disparaging lawyer who spoke to us like children, who reveled in the degradation of education, who was clueless about the value of launching our fantastically wonderful students into a bright and glorious future. The whole vibe of the negotiation negated the feeling we have when we as faculty arrive here every day, when we counsel the students, and when we run a class. There was a big disconnect. Why, Mr. Lawyer Man, were you trying to make us feel so insignificant? All we're asking for is a living wage. Now we're barely treading water, but we're strong, and you're just selfish. Guess who will win in the long run?
The communities that we all are a part of either rise together or we fall together, right? There's a group called the Industrial Workers of the World that used to say an injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all, and they meant that because they realized that attacks on the working class, attacks on working people hurt all members of this community.
Not to be cliche, even though it's a little cliche, this is what America looks like. This is participation or democracy. So faculty, staff, students, I don't care about your label. We're all here because we're in this together. And this is what it means to participate in our republic. So thank you for being here. Your learning conditions are our work conditions. We care about you, and we really appreciate you caring about us. There are going to be times when things might get uncomfortable. There are going to be conversations that are going to be difficult, that things are going to be tense. But as Howard Zinn says, you can't be neutral on a moving train. I think it was Rebecca who talked about this sacrificial love. So we need to stand in love with each other. For students, we can't forget you. So we're calling you to help us, but we're going to help you. We're going to fight these tuition fights. We're going to fight these racism fights. We're going to fight these sexism fights. And I'm not just trying to make a catch-all, because we're in this together. We need to stand in solidarity. So as Carl said, this is the beginning of a campaign that's not going to end. So are you guys with it or what? Yeah. Are you guys with it or what? Yeah! Thank you so much for being here. Talk to your friends, neighbors. We'll see you soon. This is what RVCC looks like.